Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this channel I upload sewing tutorial, pattern drafting and DIY. So please, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, press the notification bell to get notified whenever I upload a new video. Like and share this video. So in today's tutorial I'll be showing you how to achieve this particular top in two different ways. The first method is to draft the sleeve together with the top, while the second method is to attach the sleeve separately to the top. So let's get started. So I'll be using this particular fabric for the purpose of illustration. So what determines the folding of your fabric? You take your measurement from the mid of your neckline. You take your measurement from your mid neckline to where you want your sleeve to stop. From the start, you can see that the sleeve stop at the ankle. So that is what you take your measurement from your mid neckline to your ankle. That is the measurement you are going to place on this part. Or you can do it this way. You divide your shoulder measurement by 2. For example, I'm using shoulder of 14 inches. When you divide it by 2, I have 7 inches. So I will place the 7 inches here. So this part that I placed my 7 inches, I will not take my sleeve length, which is 23 plus sewing allowance, making it 24. Then I will add it to this side. So that is how you are going to get it. So and for the length of your fabric, you take your full sleeve length. So you take your full sleeve length. Mine is 23 inches. So from this part, you can determine how many inches you want at the bottom. So you can decide to add 10 inches, 15. So it depends on how long you want your sleeve to be. So that is what will determine the length of your fabric. So if you're adding 10 inches to 23 inches, that means the full length of your fabric will be 33 inches. So that is what will determine the length of your fabric. So the first thing to do is to draw out the starting line. You just draw out like half an inch for your starting line. You place your shoulder measurement. So I'll be using a smaller size for the purpose of this illustration. So let's say our shoulder measurement is 14. When you divide it by 2, I will have what? 7. So this is my 7 inches. For the neckline, I'll use 3 inches. So on this part where I have these 7 inches, I'll measure down 1 inch for the shoulder slope. Then I'll connect it. Then from the arm side, I'll use 7 inches. I'll mark out 7 inches on this part. Then I'll rule it down. Then on this part, I'll take the full length of the dress. So let me assume that the full length of the top is 22 inches. So I'll mark 22 inches on this part. Then the waist measurement, I'll be using 15 inches. So this is my 15 inches. Then I'll rule it out. So this is the full length of the top. So as you can see, there's still more fabric. This fabric is for the purpose of the sleeve. So we are still going to cut it out. So now we are going to be placing the bust measurement. On this part, I'll be placing the bust line measurement. So I'll be using 9 inches, which is 36 inches. For the bust line, I'll place it here. Then I'll add 1 inch for the allowance. Then for the waistline, I'll be using 8 inches for the waist. I'll place it like this. Then I'll add my 1 inch to it. For the bottom of the top, you are going to be using your hip measurement. So I will assume the hip measurement is 10, which is 40. I'll place it here, 40 plus 1 inches for the sewing. Please note, if you are using a stretchy fabric, if you are using a scuba fabric for this design, you may not need to add allowance. Instead, you are going to be sewing out of your original measurement. If you are using a scuba fabric, if you are using a scuba fabric, if you divide your bust measurement, if you have 9, what you are going to use is 8 inches, not 9. If you are using a stretchy fabric, instead of you using 9 inches here, you use 8 inches. You minus 1 inches from your measurement. And for a stretchy fabric, you don't need to add any allowance. Instead, you'll be minusing out of your exact measurement. But if you are using a non-stretch fabric like Akara or any other fabric, you are going to be adding your allowance. So now I'll connect these lines. So for the armhole, I'll take the midpoint, which is 3.5. So this is 3.5. I'll come in by half an inch on this part. Then I will connect the armhole. Then on this part, I'll come in by 1 inch to curve it, to just give it a nice curve, like this. So what we have here now is for one part of the top. For the other side has an extended sleeve. So that's what we are going to be drafting out now. So what I have here, this neckline, the armhole, as you can see on this part, I will transfer it to this other side. So I'll quickly draft it out on this side. So as you can see, what I have here, I've transferred it. I've transferred it also to this part. So the next thing we are going to do is to work on the extended sleeve. So this shoulder slope that I have here, I will extend it down. Extend it all the way down to this point, as you can see. For my bust line, as you can see, this my bust line. For my bust line, I will go down by 2 inches. I'll go down by 2 inches. From here, I will connect it out like this. As you can see, like this. Then from this point, I will just rule it straight down to that point. So I've connected out like this. Then from this point, you take your ruler and rule it down like this. You rule it to the end of the sleeve where you want your sleeve to stop. That's where you extend your sleeve to. So this is what we have for the extended sleeve. From this part like this, all the way down. Then this is my shoulder slope. So all this part now will be the extended sleeve. So when I cut it out, you will understand. So before I cut out on this part, I will add my shoulder joining. I will take half an inch on this part to join the shoulder. So the next thing we are going to do now is to cut out. Just watch the way I will cut it, because the other side, there is no sleeve on the other side, while on this side there is sleeve. So let me impute the neckline. So let me use 4 inches for the neckline. 4 inches. Then for the back, I'll be using 1 inch for the back. So now I'll be cutting it out. I'll first of all cut out the back neckline. I will open it up. So I open it up like this. I will cut out. I will open it up like this. Then this part that does not have sleeve, I will cut it out like this. As you can see on this part, from the allowance that we gave, I'll cut out like this. Then I'll curve it out like this. Then this part, then I'll cut it from here to meet this part. Then I'll cut out the neckline. I'll place it together to cut out the neckline. So as you can see, this is what we have. So this is what we have after cutting out. So this is the part that does not have the sleeve. So this is part that has the sleeve. Like I said, we use a small size of Akara fabric for this. If you use a long, if you use a long sleeve length, you see how beautiful it's going to come out. So if you are using a non-stretch fabric like Akara fabric, that means you need to attach your zip. So when you're cutting the back, when you're using the front to cut the back, please create a space for your zipper allowance. If possible, you can add your dart for a perfect finishing. For a perfect fit, you add your dart at the back. For the front, you can decide not to add your dart at the front, but for the back, you need to add your dart and you need to add your zip. So if you want the top to be free, you don't want a zip. That means while drafting, you add like 2 or 3 inches allowance to make it free for you to wear it without a zip. When you're sewing the front and the back together, you sew just from here to this point. All these parts will be open. Then you join the two sides from this point like this to this point. So this particular side will be open. So the only thing you need to do now is to just fold this part. You fold the edge and also the edge. So if you're using a stretchy material, you may not need zipper at the back and you may not need a dart. Just reduce from the just reduce from your exact measurement and you have a perfect fit. So this I'll be showing you the second method of achieving this particular style. So for the second method, we don't need this part, so I'll trim this part out. So for the second method, you just draft out your normal basic bodice. So I'll be cutting this part out. Then for the second part, you know this particular method, we draft the sleeve together with the top. So the second method, you are going to be attaching the sleeve separately to the top. So that means you don't need this part. You just draft out your normal blouse. You just draft out your normal blouse. So I'll be cutting this part out. So I'll cut this part out. You don't need it. Your For the second method, your normal basic blouse measurement. You cut the front and you also do the same thing for the back, leaving your zipper allowance if you are using a non-stretch fabric. But if you're using a stretch fabric, reduce from your exact measurements and join the shoulder together. Take your fabric, fold it like this. So this is it. You just fold it. You place your normal basic sleeve like this on this part. So this sleeve that we have here, it should be your from your shoulder to your ankle. So that is the sleeve pattern we're having here. So most times it's 23, 22. So you take your measurement from your shoulder to your ankle. So that is what we have here for this. Like I mentioned in the first method, you determine how long you want it to be. You can decide to add 10 inches, 15 inches to the length of your sleeve. So for this illustration, I'll be using 9 inches. So this is where I want my sleeve length to stop. So what I folded is 13 inches, as you can see. So if depending on what you want, you can fold more than 13, depending on how full you want it. So we place it like this. Then from this point, not from this point, you come down by either 2 or 1 inches here. Let me say from this point, then you connect it straight down. Straight down to meet that part. So from this point, you just connect it like this to meet this line. So this is what we have. As you can see, you connect the front to meet that line, then connect the back to meet that point. That is all you need. So we'll cut it out. So this is what we have after cutting the sleeve, as you can see. So I'll open it up like this. So this is how it will look like, the sleeve. The next thing we're going to do is to sew it down. We'll sew it from here all the way down. Then on this part, this is the part you are going to attach to your sleeve. So as you can see, after attaching, this is how it will look like. As you can see. So this is how it will look like. So you can make yours as wide as possible. So you can make your sleeve very wide. You You can make it very wide. From here, you can make it as wide as you. So I made it like this for the purpose of illustration. So you can make yours very wide. You can increase from this point. You can make it very wide like this, the way you want it. So you can see. So this is the second method. Sleeve. This is the front part, which is the 23 inches, and this is the extra length we added to the sleeve, as you can see. So this is it. So if you find this video helpful, or you have learned one or two things from this video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. See you in my next tutorial. Bye.